if you had a husband? Do you feel like, you guys should escalate the situation by going towards each other, or should one person back off and let time kind of heal?
That's why she's like, then like she sends those petty memes to you and me, and she's like daughter, like what?
Do you ever feel stressed when we get in an argument or no?
Stress? One is about me.
So I, for the most part, 98.9% of the time, I take the high road. I know sometimes your mom is stressed.
Welcome to Parenting Untapped by Ali Talks. Join my father and I as we dive into the mind of a teenager and discover what it takes to build a strong, effective relationship with your teen.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode on Parenting Untapped. I'm Ali, your host, and this is my father, Tony, your co-host. So today we're going to be talking about parents' arguments, something that we brush aside as normal adult life, but can have a profound effect on how kids grow up to understand love. So how about we get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it. I think we're much better these days. I mean, what do you remember about our arguments? I think, we've matured quite a bit, but obviously we had you when we were pretty young. We're in our early 20s, so there was definitely a lot of heated battles while you were growing up. What do you remember about it?
I know you guys argued quite a bit when I was growing up, but I don't remember what they were about.
Walk me down memory lane here. When we argued, was it scary to you? How was that like?
It was pretty bad. I guess I guess I could have seen how that would have an effect on me. I don't know if I was scared at the time, right? I just heard a lot of yelling, a lot of noise, and I was just like probably wondering what it was about.
Since you were so little at that time, did you think we were mad at you, arguing about you, or was it you just knew
Just knew you guys were.
we were arguing? Were you nosy? Were you like, or you just didn't care as a kid?
Wait, no, I just like knew you guys would yell a lot and then like kind of like walk off on each other. And then I'd see mom crying and then you were pretty upset, and I was just like wondering like what could it be about?
At what age did you start kind of understanding some of the arguments, or what was it about?
Work, I guess. I mean, as far as I can remember, a lot of your recent and like arguments I can remember would be just all about work.
Mm-hmm. So I guess when you say work, that means must have been towards end of elementary, middle school is when you start kind of understanding certain things. How do you think that has had an effect on you? Do you think that that's because you saw us do it, it's so natural that you argue with us?
No. Maybe in like because we're all so comfortable with each other. I'm not sure if I mean, do you see that correlation? Like me arguing with you guys is because you guys argued a lot back then?
To be honest, yes. I think, me and your mom, we talked about it, especially with Elena now, we reflect on how we raised you. And it was definitely one of the main things that we're like, okay, you know, let's try not to be so argumentative or aggressive in front of Elena, because we believe that your feistiness probably came from that. You probably saw that, so that you're like, okay, this is normal, right? Do you feel that that could be the case?
I mean, maybe, yeah. I can see that.
I mean, now, all we argue about is you. So,
Wait, yeah, that is true.
to be honest, right now, I think, even now we're a lot better. We're more mature now, so the the argument doesn't escalate like it used to when we're younger. But yeah, now we're just kind of like, I just shrug things off. No, I just laugh. But when we do get into a little bit more heated exchanges, like, none of us is backing down, it's generally about you.
Yeah, I think back then, one memory I had of like you guys arguing. I don't know what about you guys are so mad at each other, right? And I look like play both sides, right? Like I didn't want to get in trouble, so I'd be like, "Mommy, are you okay?" Like he's so mean. And I'll be like, "Oh yeah, mom doesn't understand." Yeah, I remember I'd play both sides, so I didn't get in trouble. But there was one time we're all going to go to the pool, like the community pool, and then I think mom was like, "You guys were arguing about something. I don't know what about." And then she decided, "Okay, I'm not gonna go." And you were like, "That's just gonna ruin the day." Like blah blah, like go, and like she just refused to go. So it ended up being you and me like only going to the pool, and I felt very awkward about it because she was crying, and then she refused to go. Do you remember that? Because we went to the pool by ourselves.
Not, I mean, man, we had so many. Me and your mother had so many battles growing up. I don't remember. I think a lot of it is just stress, right? I mean, it's stress with work. It's disagreements and things. But when you look at it now that you're grown up now, looking back, do you feel that that's normal, or do you feel that that is actually unhealthy and that's not the way parents should be handling situations?
Wait, because I don't know what the arguments back then were about. I feel like it's pretty normal, right? Like a lot of
Well, I mean, any argument, right? I mean, everybody argues, but it's how you handle yourself that ultimately matters, right? So like in your brain, like if you had a husband, do you feel like, you guys should escalate the situation by going towards each other, or should one person back off and let time kind of heal
Okay.
before you guys discuss about it? Like, what does an argument should look like to you?
That's funny you
How
say
far
that.
can it or should it go?
Wait, that's funny you guys say that. So I think there are, I guess, arguing is normal, but I think the arguments could have ended better, especially with like you and mom. You guys are very both, don't hate me for this, like both equally stubborn people who like don't really apologize to each other, right? Or I guess you'd have to apologize.
We're very competitive with each other, and I think that's why we work for so long, right? Because we make it, we're kind of both alphas in a way where
I can see that.
we're not gonna back down from our stands, from our beliefs. We're always gonna battle it out. I mean, but I've learned along the way that your
Just be
mom is always
quiet.
right now, so
We're always right.
I am good now, though, right? I mean, your mom's always right now. I'm just like, you know
Talking
what?
about this morning, or was it? It was yesterday. We were just talking about it. You're like, you're like, you have to be nice to your mom. Like, you just have to like do what I do. Like, we just gotta be quiet. Take the yelling, take the beating, and it'll go away.
It's the fastest way for it to go away, right? I mean, because if you argue back, I mean, it just generally escalates, and I honestly believe that, and that's why I always tell you is you can actually control any
Situation.
situation. It's just up to you, right? If you're gonna be egotistic, if you're gonna be prideful, that is the easiest way to blow up any situation.
Mm-hmm.
So for the most part, 98.9% of the time, I take the high road. I know sometimes your mom is stressed, so her tonality, the way things come off, I'm just like, she's having a bad day. I shouldn't add to it. And I think your mom, for the most part, does that. Someday I'm grouchy too. So, she understands. She's like, he's been working all day
Yeah,
long.
me and
So,
her be giving each other stares like,
but that's how you evolve, right? And that's how I think, healthy arguments happen, right? I mean, we still have our own beliefs. There's a lot of things your mom does that I don't agree with, and there's a lot of things that I do that she doesn't agree with. But for love, you look at the positive things in life. I told you that before too, is you always gotta, remember the positive things so that, when the negative hits, it's a lot easier to deal with. It's not everything. You choose your battles. You don't have to win every single battle. I think you're at that stage where you're trying to win every battle right now. Anytime there's situations,
wait, no, I'm learning. I'm learning.
Hopefully, you know.
I'm gonna choose my battles too.
You know, and sometimes you have to. You know, and sometimes it's too hard to, you know, but it happens, right? But the screaming, I just know when you scream at each other, you end the night, you know, just walking away, and you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really solve the situation. It only, you know, escalates. You know, sometimes, you know, you got to reflect. Do you see that as the change? Do you see that evolution? And how does that affect the way that you think a relationship should be?
Yeah, I think you guys argue a lot less now. Or like they just end very shortly. Now I think recently just all you guys arguments are about me, right? So I don't really want to butt in because somehow you guys argue and then you team up on me. So it's like 2v1 and I'm like, whoa, 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 wait, take a step back. And so I'm just like, yeah, I try to not butt into that. And I think that, how does that affect me?
Have you ever felt that you had to pick a side in our arguments? Or
No, you guys never bring me into your guys' argument. Like you guys are like not like, actually, there like sometimes when you guys are like having like those petty arguments and you're just like,
I do remember
oh,
one time though that
who's right?
we tried to bring you in.
Who's right? Who's right? Yeah, but that was way back then. You're like, who's right? And then I was just like, do you remember he did that? He did that, right? And I'm just like, oh.
You mean your mom asked you that?
Yeah, you're like, you remember he did that, right? And you were like, I didn't do that. And I was just like, wait, no, I picked a side, didn't I? But there would be times like,
I don't know if you picked this
or I
up.
didn't pick a side, but I like said what I thought. And then, yeah, or it depends on the argument, right? And then I was just like, sometimes I wouldn't even like say what I thought. Like, oh, wait, if she's like, oh, did you remember that? I'm just like, no, I didn't remember.
I remember one time I was being petty, and then I didn't really make you pick a side, but I was like, oh, even Allie thinks that.
You said that?
You're probably like rolling your eyes. You're like, why did he get me involved? But I'm
Oh,
like, I said that because you just recently told me it, so I used that to fill the flames.
that's why she's like, then like she sends those petty memes to you and me, and she's like daughter, like father.
I know.
And then there's these also recently where you got yelled at for leaving the fridge open, and you were like, no, that's Alyssa. No, that's Alyssa.
Do you ever feel stress when we get an argument or no?
Stress? When it's about me.
I know. Yeah. Actually, I remember.
When about me, I feel bad.
I remember you had this thing where whenever we argued about you, you just fall asleep. We're like, after we argue, we're like, we look back and you're like,
Yeah.
"What the heck?" She's-
Maybe that's just me trying to avoid like I didn't want to be in it. Or when you guys are yelling at me.
What's worse, when you see loud arguments or just silent, like we're not talking to each other? What's worse to you?
Ooh, they're equally bad. Because like one comes after another, right? Like you guys are arguing and then you guys can't come to like a conclusion. So you're just like silent.
But in your mind, do you think that gets scarier for you, or?
Yeah, if it's like a longer period of time, I'm like, oh no, why aren't they talking? And I somehow do something to get you guys together by getting mad at me. You guys always get back together and you're just like talking about me and like what I did wrong this time. And you guys are good again.
So how do you feel when we're arguing about you? Like, does it put pressure on you? Does it make you feel like, oh, why do I always do this? It's my fault.
Sometimes, yeah, when you guys are arguing about schoolwork or like me not doing something you guys have asked, I feel bad. I'm all right, and mom's trying to defend me, and then you're like trying to make me take responsibility for something, and then I feel bad.
Do you feel any, like, beyond feeling bad though? Like,
Do I take
do
action?
you take action and be like, you know what, I don't want that to happen again? So, or you're just like, oh,
I feel bad.
that's it.
Well, I have the intent of taking action.
Mm-mm. Like, do you feel that those are like big issues when it comes to being a role model, parents passing on to kids? Like, I mean, I know you haven't really been in a relationship, but do you see yourself? How would you react? let's, we're talking about, let's just say, you have a boyfriend and there's something that you guys don't agree with. Do you feel that you're more likely to argue verbally, or like, how would you be, do you think? I mean, I know it's hard because we're talking about something that it's not here, right?
Depends what the argument is about. Because you guys always like tell me to stand up for what I believe in, right? So I guess if it's something I'm disagreeing on, then I'm going to say something. But if I feel like that person can't listen or understand, then I'm like probably just gonna give up, like not push any further. If it's just arguing, right, and not understanding each other and it's just arguing for the sake of throwing words out there, I think that's unnecessary.
Do you think, holding things inside makes the situation worse, or do you think letting it out?
Oh, definitely. Like I think people should talk it out, but like not arguing, explaining what you think about it and coming to like a mutual understanding. But that comes with like good communication, two mature people talking things out, right?
So why do you get angry so easily and snap back so easily? Where did you get that from? If
Maybe you. Maybe you.
you get it from me,
I get it from you.
I think your mom's more snappier than me.
I think you guys both are.
Oh yeah. Watching us, have you learned anything about resolving conflicts, or no?
I think I learn more about resolving conflicts by coming to you about my conflicts and you guys telling me how I should handle situations rather than you two arguing and me learning from that.
So you just ignore it? Like I'm just trying to figure out what is the takeaway, right? Like, how does it affect? I read somewhere where, when parents are more calm and speak slowly, the kids end up growing up to be a little bit like that. But if you're rowdy and arguing and loud and aggressive, kids kind of grow up that way. Do you think that that's true?
I could see that being true. Maybe like I don't realize it, but maybe I guess yeah, me arguing or like disagreeing with you guys a lot comes from your guys' arguments, right? But I never like really thought about it that way. Like I can definitely see like in other families, I've heard like so many people, so many of their parents arguing, and that definitely takes a toll on themselves, right? It's a lot of stress. They don't like to hear that. But I guess for us, it's a little different.
I don't know if you have any friends or I've heard any, but known anybody who've heard talked about parents that are divorcing or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever look at us and ever wonder, like, hey, this is getting so scary. What happens if they're no longer together? Does that ever go through your mind? Or do you feel like we're always just, this is them. They just argue and they'll be fine after?
Wait, now that I'm used to it, yeah, I think that. But I think there's maybe been a couple of times where it's been really bad. And I was like really scared. I was just like, so I was trying to bring you guys together, but I didn't know how. Right? Like, I mean, I don't know if you remember, but I went to mom sometimes. I went to you. I'm just like, like, did it, like, dad didn't mean it, Like, and then I'm like trying to like talk for you, I guess, like how mom does for me to you. So there's that.
So when you inject yourself into it after the fact, that is when you're like, oh shoot, it's serious. I don't want it to get worse.
I don't want it to get worse, but I don't know if I ever thought like, oh, you guys are going to like break up because of it. But like I know there's like times where it was just really bad. Yeah.
So besides scared, are you like, oh shoot, do I have to go live with this guy? Or so who would you want to live with? Doesn't play.
There's times where mom comes to my room and sleep with me. I didn't think of anything like that. I just thought, oh, like she's sleeping with me tonight. She likes me more.
So no stress though, no anxiety, no, oh my God, that's happening again.
No, I think it's just if you guys are arguing about me, if it's about like financial issues, which we've talked about, work. I know work is really stressful.
I mean, I know we've improved a lot, but do you see that there's something that you would want to see different from us, or things that either me or your mom could be better?
apologizing?
I have this thing called silent apology.
No, that's not an apology.
I know I kind of suck at actual.
Mom can't apologize either.
Yeah, your mom doesn't say sorry. I've
She.
I've said sorry before, but I don't think I say it enough.
Mhm.
I just feel like, I mean, I don't know. It could be. It may sound immature now, but sometimes I feel like I don't want to just say sorry just to say sorry because I don't feel like.
So you're like, no, I'm right, so I'm not saying
It's not that
sorry.
no, I'm right, but I don't know. I've seen it where people just like, oh, I'm sorry, but you don't believe they. Sometimes I'm like, what am I saying sorry about? But I do come back and repair the relationship another way, right? By just joking about it. Or there are times where I don't say sorry, but I'm saying, hey, life is short. I didn't mean it like that. I think we just took it the wrong way.
Wait, I don't know where I got it from, but I say sorry if I don't mean it.
Excuse me? When do you say sorry?
No. Well, like, I'm like, oh, I can see where you're coming from, right? So I apologize, but I'll still think I'm right.
Is there something within conflicts that you feel that is just a no-no? Like, there's some people, they have this thing where it's like, you walk away, that's it. Don't ever walk away. Or obviously physical, that's like very common that's for sure, right? That should never happen. Is there, in your mind, there's definitely some no-nos when it comes to relationship conflicts and arguments?
For you guys or like for me?
No, I'm just asking for you in your head what you think.
I don't like cussing.
You don't like cussing.
If I was arguing with like a friend or something and then like they kind of like was very condescending or like cussing at me about trying to get their argument straight, right? I feel like there's better ways to get somebody to understand something without going to that level. I feel as if that's disrespectful.
What do you think about the parents who have conflicts but they hide it from their kids? Because there's a lot like that, right? They have, and then all of a sudden
Like hide it,
like they just don't do it in front of their kids, right? I mean, I know there's some adults that believe in that too. It's like you should never argue in front of your kids. And, a lot of times I would imagine they end up divorcing or something and it just comes out of the blue and the child is just like, what? What happened?
I've never seen that happen.
You've never seen it happen? Or you've never?
A lot of my friends talk about like maybe their parents arguing, right? Same reasons of arguments, right? Like their parents were arguing. I guess they've never said they express like scared, them being scared of because they were arguing. Unless it was about them. But like I have some friends that talk about it like it's just really bad. They're getting divorced and it's kind of like tough. But I can see how like that has like a really big impact on them and like how they feel and like what they should do about it, I guess. Like if they should try if like there's anything they can do to help bring like the relationship back together.
Do you think yelling automatically makes argument unhealthy and toxic?
I guess in a perfect world you can say yeah, like yelling and is kind of toxic, but there's times.
So you think it's okay?
Wait, I don't know.
So
That's
the
just
audience are like, look, she's already been so beat up inside that she thinks it's okay.
wait. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe that's just because how I grew up.
I guess you never know, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess yelling is kind of bad.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely some people out there that believe that the moment you start yelling, it becomes toxic.
Like
and
raising your
unhealthy.
voice.
You should never. But I'm like, okay, then is it even an argument?
Wait, yeah, like how do you argue?
I don't know. Some people, can cutely argue, I guess.
That's not our family.
I mean, I guess it's the same questions, but what do you think becomes crossing the line? Like if it's an argument, but then something happens that's like, okay, that right there is just like, you got to cut it.
So like the boundaries. So like the cussing, anything physical.
Okay, so you think cussing is up there. You don't like cussing.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom called me dumb all the time. Is that cussing? I guess it's not cussing.
Yeah, I guess condescending can go with it.
Okay. Do you think that it is important for kids to see adults disagree respectfully?
I mean, everybody wants that, right? I've never seen it, but everybody wants that.
You've never heard of anybody that's like that? I don't know. I've never seen it, but
Well, obviously, like
that's what they
with
teach you.
with
You're supposed to
kids.
be disagreeing respectfully, but
Well,
it's,
yeah, I see with kids, with teenagers, it's very passive aggressive trying to like argue, but in like a respectful way. I see that there's a passive aggressiveness in the messages and stuff. So I guess that's one way. Like they're trying to be respectful, but they're trying to show that they're unhappy with the situation.
But I guess there are some people that kind of argue differently, right? They hold it all inside. They don't ever really, you know what I mean, defend themselves or make their stance known, and then till it's too late, and they just blow up, and it gets really, really bad.
Well, there's some people like that and they just like don't talk about it, and then that kind of just like maybe
Like, I think a lot of times that's how divorces actually happens too, in my opinion. A lot of time it's just they fall out of love with each other because they just don't talk about it. They don't get it off their chest.
same with
Something that
relationship.
one person does and the other person doesn't say nothing about it, then it's, me and your mom, we argue a lot, but I mean, I've told her early on where it's like, dude, men, we're not very bright when it comes to these things. So if you really want something, you just tell me, and then I will change that. But if you try to beat around the bush and try to give me hints and test me, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna know what the heck you really want from me. So I'm just gonna be like, oh, okay, that's cool. I'm just gonna go out with my friend, okay? Oh, okay, you're gonna go out with your friend, okay? I like what he's just telling me. It's like, hey, I don't like, you have a family now, da 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 da, you know.
Yeah, I same with relationships, I guess.
So in my opinion, if anything I could teach you, I think, don't give men so much credit, man. You tell them exactly what you want, and you'll be surprised what you get.
And then if you do and then they don't,
Because I know a lot of women, they like to, test it. Does he really love me? Is he gonna do the right things for me? Nope. We were raised differently. What we think is okay may not be okay. You gotta let us know. And I think once your mom started understanding that, yeah, she started telling me everything. Oh, then I'll just get annoyed, like, oh my goodness.
I feel like something should be like common sense though. If one's mad about something that you did,
Not really.
no.
No, there's a lot of situations that, you know, everybody's different, of what they're okay with. Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of weird because when we have a topic like this, I guess I'm kind of expecting that somehow, me and your mother's argument somehow affected you. It doesn't sound like it affected much.
I mean, I guess maybe I was just
But I can tell you that we believe that the personality and the argumentative nature of how you are with us, we believe it came from us. So we self-diagnose that. We're like, you know what? She's probably like that because of us. Everything she wants to argue, everything she wants to, show us that she's right because we do that. So she probably does that.
that's just kids, right? Like kids argue all the time.
Not every kid argue back with their parents, buddy.
Really? All my friends talk about doing that.
Oh, I don't know.
No, yeah, I guess there's like some kids that are like goody two shoe. No arguing.
So what are you if you're arguing back? So you're not a goody two shoe?
No, I am. I am. Just
Is
like
that what you're trying to say?
they just
You're
like
some.
they just listen to everything. Right? I don't know.
Yeah, there is
They
a
don't have
lot of
opinions.
there is a lot of family like that where it's like, okay, you argue back, that's a pow pow. Some parents are strict like that.
That's why we have this podcast where we're open discussions. We talk about it.
Okay, so if you had to give an advice on this specific topic, from our family and what you've learned and what you've seen, what do you think is okay with an argument? What should happen? And how to, maybe how to avoid it in general?
I mean, it's always good to be with somebody with already the same beliefs and values that you have. I mean, I guess most arguments stem from that already. But like besides that, it's always good to be able to take responsibility for your mistakes and also like be able to apologize with the other person. Maybe listen, talk it out, see where they're coming from, right? Put yourself in the other person's shoes. But always end it with a good note. Always like end any type of argument with like an understanding, right? Not just walk away from it.
So you think, okay, so it's important to resolve the situation, basically.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be right away. Like I know like arguments can get heated. Maybe like take a breather, take a break from each other a bit, but definitely don't go over like 24 hours without like not talking about the situation.
And I guess the main thing, do you think it's okay to kind of show that to your kids, and how important it is to follow through, like you said, to show that we are able to resolve the situation?
It shows healthy conflict. It shows a child, right? Because we learn everything from our parents, so we see that we're going to like reciprocate that with our friends, with other people in real life. So I feel like it's always helpful to see that in action.
Okay. And then you said that there were some boundaries where you definitely should not do.
But everyone has their own boundaries, right? I think for me, for our family, I think like that's something I just have.
And you said it was no cursing, no physical touch.
No, like being condescending within one another. I feel like that's just petty and can like make arguments worse.
See, there you have it. I guess arguments are healthy. We've had a lot in our family, but there are just certain things that you got to do to show your kids that, you know what I mean, it's a part of life and everybody can improve and grow from it. And it's not the end of the world. So hopefully that helps you guys out there. And if you guys have any questions, make sure you leave it in the comments. Make sure you subscribe. Helps us to keep going and doing what we're doing. Like, follow, see us on our social media. And if there's any content at all that you guys want to see, let us know.
Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning into Parenting Untapped. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to follow and subscribe wherever you listen so you don't miss the next one. Want to gain even more valuable insights into understanding and connecting with your teens? Then head on over to parentinguntapped.com and subscribe to our email list for exclusive updates. Until next time, see you later.